at Athlete Builder going solo today, and I'm a total homer on this one. We got Blake Mohler in, and having Brett Agnew on a couple weeks ago, he was going to introduce me to some athletes, and I thought, well, I'm just going to on my own just pull up their webpage and see who there is, and say they have all these awesome looking athletes that are outstanding in their own right, and I'm looking through their bios, and I'm like, well, there's one that's from Purdue. And I went to Purdue, so I'm like, well, it's nepotism and favoritism in the world. Blake wins out. So, Blake Moeller, first, just welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
Where are you at physically right now?
Physically, I'm in Chicago for the next 24 hours.
24 hours. And
24.
we'll get into this later, but her life's a little bit of a whirlwind and
Yeah.
of her own right, just by herself, it would be. But dating Michael Soroka with the Chicago Cubs adds
Yeah.
another level, another element to it. So, little background about Blake. What can I tell you? Let's see, it's Biddy and Kathy, right?
That's it. Yeah. Super unique first name for my dad, huh?
Right, Biddy. And then there's Chase and Juliana. So of the three, where are you? Like, what's the order?
I am in the middle, right?
Middle.
Smack dab in the middle. Yeah.
Oh man, that middle
Yeah.
child syndrome from,
Everyone thinks that I'm more of an older, but yeah, I'm in the middle.
all right,
Yeah.
uh, hails from the great volleyball state of Mississippi.
Yeah. Super great.
Went to Purdue. She had all the awards. Like there was a whole page of awards for her growing up. She was like Nike at the Gatorade, USA All World Player of the Year,
Yeah.
seemingly. But
It wasn't hard in Mississippi, but it's getting harder right here.
gotcha. Goes to
Yeah.
Purdue. Red shirts. 2018 and 19 looked like those were her best years. Third team, AVCA All-American. The following year, honorable mention. Just under 1,000 kills lifetime. Just under 500 blocks lifetime.
Yeah. One ankle sprain away.
Just big production
Yeah.
numbers. Top of the list for like killing percentage. So like for snipers out there, be worried. But from there, went and played pro. And we had, let's see, Carly Wopet on for Team USA. She played pro, and Shani Lipscomb. She played for New Mexico State and then Peru. And it looks like Blake went to Europe, Germany, Switzerland, France for all the good food and all the good beer and wine.
Absolutely.
Played volleyball there, came back, the Orlando Valkyries, and now the Indy Ignite. Middle hitter, 6'1", 28 years old. Google keeps messing it up. Shame on
Yep, not
Google.
29.
Not 29.
Couple months I'll be there.
Mid blocker from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Blake Moeller. All right. It's a lot to say.
A lot. I get you killed it.
Thanks. Did a little research here. It's always fun. And for those that watch the show, any kind of advertisements and asks usually come at the end, but I want to make sure everyone hears this one first, and we never do this, but October's Breast Cancer Month, and it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. Last year's we raised a little over $40,000. So click on the links and check out Unbreakable Athletics. That's our big fundraiser. There's a lot of people hitting close to home personally, a lot of people in the gym that are affected by it pretty significantly this year. So check that out. All right, Blake, if you were to say Brett Agney's walkout song, what would that be?
Oh gosh, I'm like so not into music, but I learned this. So we had a running joke during season, like we could always tell when Brett was on Ox, and it's because he likes this like ravey like house music that you just like really wouldn't get from him. So I'd have to say some type of like summer party rager EDM mix would be his walkout song. Yeah,
Solid call there. See, I identified a lot with Brett, not because of the volleyball, but he takes athletics and adds the nerd component. So he's,
absolutely. Yeah.
and that makes a lot of difference. And I'm like, oh, cool. We can beat other people by being smarter. That's probably where I would fit in better because
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
yes, yes. So, Blake, what's your walkout song?
I always let people pick it for me. I know that's so funny, but
Lame.
like, I know. I'm really just like go with the flow easy.
I'm gonna pick it for you if you don't have one, but
Okay.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, you pick it and I'll tell you if it's good or not.
Ba Whoop da Ba by Kid Rock.
That would be a good one. We did listen to a lot of Kid Rock on the boat growing up in the summers. My dad never let us touch the aux, so I'm sure he would love that one.
And what would Michael Soroka's walkout song be?
His is like some weird Volbeat rock. He's a metal guy. He loves guitar, so we're totally different in that aspect.
All
We
right,
actually had to knock his down a few levels when he was choosing his new one a couple weeks ago. I was like, people are gonna think you're crazy.
right.
Yeah.
So Chicago, you got like one night to go out and you have an outstanding meal.
Uh-huh.
Where do you pick to go?
We're big on Maple and Ash. Yeah, that's usually our date night. Or Swift and Sons in West Loop.
What's Maple and Ash about? Never been there.
It's a steakhouse. We actually, one of our first dates was there in Scottsdale, so it's nice that we have it here too. So,
Nice, fun.
yeah.
Are we more? And it might be just temporary, but just since you're in Chicago for 24 hours,
Uh-huh.
is it the Blackhawks? Is it the Bulls, the White Sox, Cubs? What's the team that we're cheering for? We're gonna assume it's the Cubs because your boy plays for them, right? But
Yeah, he was actually with the White Sox last year too, so we're split on both sides. But I would have to say, Cubs, it's such a loyal Chicago, like, go Cubs. It's
right,
historic.
it is iconic, really.
Yeah.
All right, so you've been playing volleyball for a while, played other sports as well. I wrote down golf and basketball, track, high
Hmm.
jump, triple jump, really athletic, right?
I
Which
did it all.
did it all. Your current teammates, been with
Hmm.
them for a little over a year. There's
Yep.
always a little bit of turnover with every team, whether you're young, college, pro. Which teammate's the jokester on your team?
Um, Definitely Johnny. But like you wouldn't get it. She's very serious during practice, but like she's the one that will pull pranks. Like she literally went and saran or tinfoil saran wrapped in Issei's room while we were out of town one weekend. Like just does things like that that you wouldn't expect from her because she's really serious, but she's funny.
I don't know what it is about the locker room, but there's always some kids that are screwing around. My son plays for Ball State football, and guys will be taking a shit, and somebody will come by with an entire trash can full of ice and dump over the top, or
Yeah.
hide their clothes and stuff.
Yeah, we haven't gotten into the locker room yet, but everyone, yeah, yeah. I'd say we have a pretty funny team. Like our whole team is kind of funny. So,
My next question was, who's the serious one? Is that still Johnny?
yeah, I'm trying to think. Elena's pretty serious too. Like she's like a very steady, like she'll give you a little bit of funny, but like she's a very level, calm, like
Gotcha.
serious player, which as a libero, I feel like you kind of have to be. So,
And then of all the people, who's the funniest?
me.
Is that right?
Yeah,
You seem to be having a good time,
I think.
right? Big smile, likes to laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Bring light.
Which one of the athletes on your team would do a base jump like off a bridge with a parachute?
That would Carly Scott just retired, but she would have done it. Like she's one of those weird adrenaline junkie people. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, Back in the Big Ten,
Mhm.
other than playing at home, which I think sometimes your games are in Mackey, but also you have your own arena, right, for
Yeah,
games.
Holloway. Yeah.
On the road, what's your favorite venue? Like, oh man, this place is crazy. It's a lot of fun. It's
Hmm.
kind of wild. Or
Probably Penn State. It was
really,
very similar setup, except the bleachers were a little bit further off the court. But they have their student section like right down by like the ref stand. So as a middle, like I set up a lot there before serves. And I don't know, it just like it's a fun environment kind of being harassed by the student section and it's loud. But it's not like they're on top of you. So I always thought it was fun to play there.
students take the heckling to a whole new level. It used to be just they'll heckle you
You're getting straight bullied.
and they'll just be mean, right? But now
Yeah.
they're like funny too. They're like, they'll say things like, Blake, you're not tall enough to reach the ceiling, whatever.
Yeah.
Some completely useless,
Crazy things.
but they'll say
Yeah.
crazy things, and they're just
I
really
remember
super
one
artistic
Penn
about it.
State game, we had them like our assistant coach kind of like Tim Ebeck, he would get up and walk more than Dave would. So like the student section took and ran with it and they were like, Tim should make more money than Dave and like was like putting Dave's salary out there and like crazy things that it's just kind of like, where do you even think
Of these
of
things,
these things? Like
right?
they go like hardcore deep search like on who we are and we'll take things from our personal life and just throw it out there. So it's
That's
funny.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Top one, two, three Big Ten moments.
Top one. This one just, it always stays in the back of my mind. We finally beat Nebraska at home my senior year. And that's obviously a really big win for anyone. So just being able to do that my fifth year was really cool. Top two, we had an issue of losing in the first round of the NCAA tournament for a while. It was like a really bad streak. We also broke that my senior year. That had been a goal of ours for a couple of years. Top three, we this was my freshman or sophomore year. We beat Minnesota and Wisconsin, who were both ranked top five or top 10 in the country within
Wow,
one weekend. And it was just, yeah, crazy, crazy night for us, or weekend, I guess. So,
that's great.
yeah.
Internationally,
Internationally, French Cup in France, my last season playing overseas. That was first time I've ever actually won a championship. So I've always gotten really, really close, but never brought home the gold. So that one was really fun.
talk about the after parties.
I don't remember them.
Come
Just
on,
kidding.
like I'm sure there's a couple options
No,
because I'm an open book. Talk about anything.
yeah, no, we France was really fun. The French Cup was in Paris. So our team took us straight out. They had champagne bottles waiting in the locker room. They do it different in Europe. So that was a really cool experience. I've never felt so terrible flying home the next morning though. That
No.
was top five worst morning of my life.
Oh. And then so the next day you're already gone. You can't just sit there and
We literally,
party for a little while.
no, we got probably home at 4 a.m. We're at the airport by 7. That was
No,
rough.
I
Yeah,
just
that was,
rescheduled a flight. Come on,
we were all just sitting there like down bad, but
right?
so worth it.
Talk about international venues, some places that were like there's pretty wild places.
Um, I would have guessed it would have been Germany. I was during there, my season there was during COVID, so we couldn't really have fans in the arenas, but those were probably like the bigger, could have been the loudest. Place to play. Switzerland was pretty small. I actually got to play against my head coach for this season in Indy, Lauren. I played against her in Switzerland, and their arena Nuke was probably one of the better ones to play, and they had a really cool fan base. She did some awesome things there at that team, so playing against them was always really fun.
Gotcha. I mean,
Yeah.
my wife's gonna kill me on this one. There's a lady on your Ignite team this past year. She's from like the Anderson, Indiana area, but I think she's off the team now. She went somewhere else down south, maybe in Dallas or something like that. And
Oh, Kylie.
yes, yes.
Kylie. Yeah, yeah.
So her dad grew up with my wife.
Oh, no way. Scott's awesome. I love him. They're
So,
great.
so
Great
if you,
family.
any shout outs about Kylie, let her rip because I don't know the girl from Adam, but my wife
I
would.
mean, she's literally one of my best friends leaving the team. We were trying to plot the whole year of how we could play together again. But our paths led us to different cities. But that'll be one of the most exciting teams to play because she is just a fiery little human being that anyone's lucky to play with. So,
Look at that. Big
yeah.
endorsement.
Yeah, go Kylie Murr.
All right, so this next moment, it comes down to one component, and you either jump up and block the ball coming at you and it wins, and you win the whole thing. Or you jump up and you gotta smash the ball and win a point, and that wins the whole thing, and you guys win.
Yeah,
But you can only pick one.
I'm definitely more of an attacker. I like the offensive side. I'm a very fast middle. I'm not a very tall middle in the league anymore. I used to be kind of average, and now it seems that everyone's 6'4". Um, so I'm definitely, my speed allows my offense to be my weapon. So I would definitely go for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Uh, any bad shots where the ball's coming at you and you're like, oh my God, you just broke my nose. That's not cool.
No, I don't think I've ever had that. Obviously, like all of my fingers have tendonitis and terrible tendons. Like they're crooked and they're gonna look really ugly in about 20 years. But I have been concussed a few times from like men. We had men practice players at Purdue, and like they would just rip the shit out of the ball, and I'm not fast enough to get out of the way. So that's really the only time I've been hit in the face.
Dang. I think they have some
Yeah.
men playing basketball too against the women's team to help them prepare as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is great. It's an awesome tool to be able to use. Because if you can stop them, you can stop most females.
I told Sam we have 6 kids and my youngest is Sam. Of the 6, he's the only one that went to Purdue and he's there now. I
Oh,
said,
really?
go be one of those dudes that plays the sports because wanting to be meeting taller women, and
Yeah.
that's excellent for the next generation, bro.
Well, you got to think about it.
Right?
People joke and laugh that I shouldn't think about that, but I'm not dating a 6'5". No, I'm just kidding.
Right? I told my boys, like,
It went into the thought process.
don't bring home some girl that you love because she's so really sweet and hard worker, loves Jesus, super smart, but she's 5'4". Like, don't do that, man. Like, that's
I
not
mean, yeah,
like,
those first things are really important, but so
but
is the height.
right. And as strong as I can make you, I'm not growing anybody. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
so
funny.
they never listen. That's all right. So growing up, played different sports, athletic, and I gotta assume for a while, for some people, if you're just physically different, stronger, faster, taller, you can win without trying very hard. And then at some point, you're like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to try a little harder, right?
Yeah.
When was your welcome to volleyball life? It's like, holy shit, this is different. Welcome to the college or welcome to pros, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna have to elevate my game in a lot of ways for me to hang on here.
Yeah, I would actually say mine was kind of the opposite. I was very unathletic until about ninth grade, maybe seventh or eighth grade is when I like started figuring out that I could be good at sports. But I actually played soccer from the age of 3 up until seventh grade, and I did not make the A team in seventh grade. And the coach was pretty much like, you can either quit soccer or play on the B team. And I was like, well, I'm not playing on the fucking B team, so I quit. And then I had one of the middle school basketball coaches. We had like a block period that was basketball practice during school. And I just like looked at my schedule that year and basketball was on my schedule. And I was like, I did not sign up for this. I don't know. Like, I thought it was a joke. So she was like, look, just come give it a couple days, maybe a week. If you hate it, I'll take you out. You can go back to doing whatever. But I ended up falling in love with basketball. And I wouldn't say I was like great, but I kind of figured out, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been playing the wrong sport my whole life. So from that moment on, I always knew that I was going to have to be a really hard worker because I was later in the game than most people. They had been playing, instead of soccer, they were playing basketball at the age of 3.
Sure.
And then basketball led me to volleyball in ninth grade, and I fell in love instantly. And we had a coach come in, and she told me like, hey, look, we're in a state where volleyball is not big, but like if you work your ass off now, you can get somewhere. So I would say like then is when I realized that like I was always going to have to work harder than the person next to me because I was at a disadvantage from starting later. So I'd say that's one of my biggest qualities as a player is that I will give it 110% because I want to be the best at what I'm doing.
It's a great perspective. And most people say, well, I got screwed. I didn't start till later. And the difference is that, hey, I really lucked out. I had to work really hard earlier versus
Hmm.
some athletes, they do so well naturally for such a long time, they can't make that switch.
Yeah,
They can't turn it on where, oh shoot, I got to work on my strength and my nutrition and everything else and learning everything. So they don't have that gear. But if you have that
yeah,
gear early, that gift of discomfort, then it kind of just weaves into your identity, and
yeah.
now you're just a hard worker all the time.
Absolutely. Which, I mean, I could give a lot of that to my parents. My dad is one of the hardest working people that I know. And that's just kind of like a quality that is really important in our family. So, like, I was fortunate enough that they would give me anything I needed to work hard, but like, it was always my mindset of that's what I saw growing up. So, that's what I was going to do.
You wrote here, my brother's badass.
Yeah, he's freaking crazy.
What's he all about?
Well, he, likes jumping out of planes, sniper army, which is funny because that was my nickname growing up in volleyball. When I first started, I was a sniper because I would hit girls in the face.
Oh wow.
And he was an actual sniper in the army. But went through SEAL training, I don't know what he does now, his title, he just retired from, but yeah, crazy person jumps out of planes. I used to make me swim in, like, I would follow him in the boat while he swam in the bayou while it was cold so that he could get used to like being in different temperatures. Yeah, crazy, crazy person.
Did he make it through Buzz? Was he an active duty SEAL?
He made it through, I want to say he tapped out like the night of Hell Week or something.
Gotcha.
I really don't know the full story, doesn't really talk about it often, but yeah, he made it pretty far and then said, never mind.
Gotcha. We've had a number
Yeah.
of SEALs on the show. Some are friends of mine, and they asked me to do this big fundraiser with them this year, just swimming across the Hudson River. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like
I'm
it.
sure it's tough. Yeah.
So like similar to you, I'm late to the game where I didn't really, other than swimming up to a bar or learning how to swim when I was like 7 years old. I was a strength athlete, just would just lift and be
Yeah.
strong, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't really start learning how to swim until a year ago.
Yeah, I'm sure like I don't float, that's for sure.
If
Like
you're
swimming's not my favorite.
if you're dense at all, like more muscle, then
Yeah.
it's a lot harder actually.
Well, we went to there's this really cool place in Chicago, and I can never pronounce it right. It's like Airy something, but it's an ancient bath place, and they have like a salt pool,
Oh
and
wow,
all these people are in there floating, and me and Michael are like, why aren't we floating?
what the hell?
So we had to go like put our legs up just so that we could float. But then he explained the same things. He was like, well, we're a little more dense, so we're sinking instead of floating. But I'd never thought of it that way. It was really cool though.
Yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Uh, so at 28, I don't know the answer to this question, so usually I try to know them in advance, but what's the pro volleyball life expectancy?
Um, I honestly, it varies. I mean, overseas, I played with girls that were 41. So I think if you treat your body right, if you train properly, you can go that length. Obviously, there's always factors of like people start families and girls that can balance both, I mean, are still playing. And I think it also just depends on the position. I think some positions can last longer than others. But yeah, I would say like mid 30s, and then some girls retire for college, just
Sure,
different.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I wrote down that you're looking to continue playing for a while, become the best player I can be. Gosh darn it!
Yeah.
And
Just
then
looking to be better every year.
the big smile, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then it says transition, maybe start a family, maybe stay in athletics.
Yeah.
Any idea in what capacity you would like to continue in athletics?
Um, I've just recently started like thinking about what could be next. I went ahead and got my CPT. I love working out. I'm especially in this like new stage of life that I'm in. I realize like how important it is. And I like influencing others to live a healthy lifestyle. So I started coaching at Orange Theory this off season, and do enjoy like the training aspect of things. So I could maybe see myself doing that further down the road. Working in a gym. I'm like really passionate about like Pilates and like other types of workouts that I think major athletes don't realize could be beneficial to our bodies. So doors open to a lot of ideas. Just I know I can't turn around and sit behind a desk for 9 to 5.
Right.
I need to stay active. I'm very fortunate that I have been able to play volleyball for so long, but it's also a negative side of like, oh my gosh, how do I transition from this to just like sitting still all day? So yeah, it'll be an interesting transition of how that goes. But I'm very much so I've tried really hard to take my hands out of my life, and just wherever God puts me, I'm trusting. So I'm not even thinking that far down the road. I just know that's something that I would enjoy.
Last week's episode, we had Jen Floyd on, and she was an Olympic rower. And
Hmm.
similar to you, like you started late to the game in volleyball. She didn't start rowing until her senior year in college.
Oh wow.
She was always playing other sports,
Yeah.
and she transferred to Cornell and wasn't going to play a sport, and did it her junior year, and then got really missed the team component.
Hmm.
And something once you come to this call out, and she's tall like you are. And so she was in shape and strong, and she caught on the technique real well. So she rode for 1 year for Cornell, and then made USA team, and then 4.5 years later was in the Olympics.
Wow.
And so fast forward, she's much older now, and similar to you, she runs a small gym where they do boot camps and things like that, and just
Yeah.
influence people's lives to be healthier. And just that's kind of her calling. Uh,
Yeah.
she's living it just like you're talking about doing.
Yeah, that would be a dream. So maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
It's got to be a little tough, an athlete's lifestyle. Like my son who plays football, he's never been home for Thanksgiving, and Christmas is a maybe because they could be at bowl games, or if they do, there's practice and stuff. So similar to you, you got to have. the stereotypical standard lifestyle's got to be a little different. And if you got your boyfriend who's also living that lifestyle,
Yeah,
that's got to be kind
our
of
life is very different.
it's got to be kind of nuts, right?
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's definitely, I wouldn't even say, no, I was gonna say draining, but it's not. It's awesome. We're so blessed. Like anyone like that, the things that we get to do are, I mean, I would never trade them. But it's definitely, you just have to have a routine and stick with it, because it's a lot of travel. Obviously, I go from traveling all of my volleyball season straight into baseball season, and they're obviously on the road every 7 days. But just knowing that I'm still working towards my career and knowing that I have a partner that pushes me to be the best athlete that I can be, it really helps. So it's a lot of travel. We live out of suitcases, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Good answer, because he's probably going to listen
Yeah,
later.
I know. I'm like, I love it. I'm just kidding.
You're the best ever.
No, he's great. He's great. And he really helps. I mean, and this is one thing I'm not sure you've ever gotten into with anyone, but the difference of female athletes and male athletes and what we're not given, but what we earn is a lot different. And he's very supportive in that sense of like we do the same exact thing, we train the same exact way, we have the same job, but one of us is making just as much money as I make in a year and a day. So just knowing that he sees it and he'll do anything that he can to help support my career and my off season training and put me in the best place that I can be, like that's also a very, very lucky thing that I have in my life. So it is more beneficial to me, honestly.
It's great if you have like a teammate that gets you, right? And
Yeah.
it's not always adversarial or, hey, this is my stuff, this is your stuff. They actually
Hmm.
get you.
Yeah.
And I can empathize with what you just said. There's like my son plays for Ball State. That team's not
Hmm.
not very good compared to Ohio State,
Hmm.
but they're still doing
Yeah.
two days and they're training in the
Same
heat.
exact thing. Yeah.
But some kids are making millions of dollars, and some kids, sometimes if your equipment breaks, you have to go, replace it yourself, right? And they're working just as hard. But that's just that's just the economics and capitalism of supply and demand curve. And there's more demand for Ohio State players on Saturday than there's for Ball State players, unfortunately. But people are
Still grinding.
still grinding, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yep.
so how did you meet Michael? Did you just walk into the room and you're like, hey, I got a standard, they got to be taller than me, and so here's a guy that's what 6'5" maybe, I don't know, and
No. Yeah, no, that was not it. We actually got very lucky. He had ended his season with the Braves early in 23 from shoulder inflammation and ended up being out in Phoenix training. And I had gotten a call from Kaz Brown one morning, asking if I could move to Arizona in 24 hours to be there for AU. And I was like, hell no, there's no way. Like I was coaching at South Alabama. I had my life kind of set up at home for the off season. And then my coach in Orlando, Amy Pauley, actually called me and was like, just go, like literally just go. And so I moved to Phoenix in 36 hours and met Michael that night that I had gotten to Arizona. Yep. Crazy story, but
so the one lady bullied you into going, just said, hey, you just go, and you said, okay, no
yeah.
problem.
Yep. Great. Sounds good. I wasn't going to say no to my coach.
And then was that divine intervention setting you guys up? Like,
I mean, I would say it was God's timing. So
is that right?
I fully trust it. Yeah. It was wild the way it happened, but I fully believe that we were
And
meant to be there.
what year was that?
23. So our anniversary is actually today.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years today.
It's my mother's birthday today. Shout out Kathy. And then my son's was
That's
two
my
days
mom's
ago.
name. Great day for everyone.
Great day. Blue skies. Everyone's healthy.
Yeah,
Everybody's getting after it.
absolutely.
All right, some things I put down here. You said you want to talk about mindset and the ups and downs. Let's uncover where mindset really gets beat on. Any major injuries you had to come back from?
I've had three, four. I've had a shoulder surgery. That was my first major injury my sophomore year of college. Rehabbed that for a whole spring, came back a couple weeks after I was cleared and started having hip pain. And we just thought it because I hadn't played volleyball really in 6 months. Had ended up tearing my left hip labrum. Played on that for a year and a half. It was terrible timing. I had found out right before spring break of my junior year, and they were like, well, you could have surgery, but you're going to miss half of your senior year. And I had already redshirted. So I was like, well, I'm not taking another medical year. So I just decided to shoot it up with cortisone and keep playing. Did that. And then my first season back in the US, I tore my right hip labrum. So now I've got two clean, fresh hips. And then I did have one hamstring tear in Germany. So my yeah, my body's been through it. So the adversity of those has definitely had a major impact on my mindset of volleyball for sure.
The book I put out, one of the chapters on recovery, I entitle it "The Gift of Injury,"
Hmm.
and I talk about how it gives the athlete and the coach a chance to figure out, hey, why am I getting injured? This is something that's
Hmm.
going on that should be adjusted. How's my body not prepared? And what other areas can I really improve now that I can't do some things I normally do? How was your mindset? What was your thought process? How do you, because after a while, you go through all the stages of denial and pissed off and negotiating, and then finally acceptance. Like, talk about how you work through that each time, because those are challenging setbacks, but yet here we are, 28, and we're,
Yeah,
we're we're in the pros. So
yeah.
talk about that.
I would say in college, I really didn't think much of it. Like, I just thought, oh, I'm unlucky. Like, my body hates me. But in reality, I had an eating disorder. I wasn't sleeping. I was treating my body terribly. I would stay up until 4 a.m. studying, wake up at 8 to go to weights or my first class of the day. So I will take full accountability for those first couple of injuries. And looking back, now that I'm out of those, I think that was probably the biggest part of it, sleep and eating and fueling. Um, in Europe, I really learned the importance of like food, and living in a country where, I mean, the food's cleaner, it's better, you feel better, your body performs better, your skin's better. Like, it's just a big difference in food, and realizing every time I came back to the States, I just felt like shit. So, being able to implement things that make my body feel better, now is really important. And gosh, the sleep is the biggest thing. I used to run on 4 hours of sleep and not blink twice. But now I'm like, if I don't get nine, I'm mad and don't feel good, and my body aches, and big difference. So just learning that, there were ways that I could keep my body healthy, and maybe I might not look the same way that I did in college, and having to be okay with that, and just realizing that my body is strong and it's able to do these amazing, awesome things. That was the biggest transition for me.
That's huge. When people ask me, how do I get to play at this level? I said, well, success leaves clues. I picked that up. I
Hmm.
stole that from Tony Robbins, and I'm like, well, if you want to play volleyball in college, which volleyball athletes in college do we know? Can we look
Hmm.
like them, act like them, train like them? So there's obviously a pattern there you can replicate. There's, also like setbacks leave clues. Maybe you guys are always getting beat on the right side, or statistically there's something wrong with your transition. But if you're consistently getting hurt, or you have been hurt, it's taking that time to sit back and say, hey man, maybe these things, maybe I'm kind of at fault here. Maybe I need to make some adjustments. And I can't. It's hard for me to replicate or empathize, sympathize with athletes in college, because I just played a club sport at Purdue, and after 2 years, I was already out of it. And those next 2.5 years, I ate a lot of bad food and drank a ton of beer in the fraternity, right? So there's no wondering why I ended up a lot heavier when I graduated, and
Yeah,
had lost a lot of weight. But if you can look back and have that maturity, which is kind of a joke, right? You're supposed to be mature when you're really young,
yeah,
but you can learn so much about yourself if you do that, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Big learning curve for sure.
Let me ask you this, and it's a stereotype, and I can't say it is true or not because I'm a guy, and but we have 4 daughters, and I run a gym, and there's females in the gym, And there's people that'll ask, hey, if I start lifting, will I get bulky? And athletes like my own nieces, I tell them they need to lift to help prevent ACL tears and torn Achilles, etc. But they struggle with, well, as an athlete, you're gonna get stronger and you look a certain way, and it might not be as, I don't know, feminine, I guess, or
Hmm.
preferred.
Yeah.
But you're asked to be physically violent over and over again, right? And if you don't prepare your body, like, your body won't handle the violence. How do you guys handle, or was that a problem for you guys, for you at all, or is that something you had to work through? That, hey, I need to start lifting weights. I need to eat differently. I can't just be thin. I need to be
Yeah.
powerful, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about
Um,
that component at
yeah,
all?
absolutely. I mean, and this is one thing that like I've become pretty passionate about. In college, I was in a sorority. All of my friends were cheerleaders, very small girls. And I've always been like a bigger boned, bigger like person. So that was already like something I've struggled with growing up. But then, I'm around all of these girls who aren't really eating as much as I'm eating and just can skip a couple meals and be fine, like things that as an athlete you can't do. And I was the first one to fall in it. I was absolutely starving myself in college and not eating. I would go to the co-rec at 11 p.m. at night and run 3 miles because I wanted to lose the muscle that I was gaining because I was obviously not forced, but like we had team lifts, so you had to lift. But I was doing a lot of things to get rid of the muscle that I was gaining. And obviously that led to two major injuries. I actually got reported to our team nutritionist twice because I wasn't eating. So I think it's like really hard as a female athlete to realize that one, we're all built different. Um, Two, we're so blessed to be able to perform athletically, but we're not blessed to be strong without training. Like that's just common sense. You have to treat your body and you have to be strong and you have to do these things so you can perform. And I was stupid and didn't realize that those two went hand in hand. Um, so yeah, and I mean, I still struggle with it to this day of like comparing myself to even just other volleyball players. Like none of us are built the same. Like, yeah, most volleyball players are like tall, lanky, toned, but like there are some of us. I mean, look at Lekator, our outside hitter. She is the strongest person I know. Like she is so built with muscle. Like she's 5'7", jumping higher than half of us. Like every volleyball player's body is different. And I think you just have to accept how God made you and give your body what it needs to perform. And I think a lot of female athletes probably have dealt with this thought process sometime in their career. But it's easy to overcome with a lot of training.
You well, one, I told each of my three kids, and I told some of Jen's,
Hmm.
and some of my athletes,
Yeah.
because they're always, we push our athletes, we push our kids. Kaizen is a core value, which means, constant improvement. I set each one of them down, and one day I said, hey, you know what? You are enough. However you are. You don't play more football. You don't. My daughter's a rower at Alabama. They're all different colleges. I'm like, hey, you are enough. And even
Absolutely.
if I didn't think you were, maybe I thought, you know what, you're not enough. You're not doing what you need to do. It doesn't matter because God thinks you're enough.
Yep.
Jesus
For
thinks you're
sure.
enough. That's what
Yeah.
matters. And then
Yeah.
two, I tell them, have you ever said I should have dot 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 and then felt better? I
Not
sh
really.
I've never felt better. I should have done this. I should have done that.
Yeah.
I've never felt better. I understand. Hey, let's analyze this and see what
Hmm.
you do next time. Okay, let's do this next time.
Yeah.
If you're separated, but Ryan Holiday is the ego is the enemy. Uh, I never felt better. And comparison is the thief of joy, African proverb, right? You ever compare yourself to other people and be like, yeah,
Yeah. Wow, I feel great. No.
no, no.
Yeah.
So if you are enough, and the people in your life that are meaningful, because you only get about three or four other than your family, like,
Hmm.
even sometimes in your own family, you're like, I'm glad that person's leaving soon. Like, you look however you look, right?
Yeah. I think one thing that I've like really had to call myself back to, and as I like have been diving deeper in my faith the last couple of years, like we're all beautifully and wonderfully made, and we're not the same. We're all called to do what God had planned for us, and not one of us are called to do the same thing. So just knowing that like I am made in the image of what I was supposed to be, and if I'm putting everything into my body for it to perform the way it's supposed to, then like I can't be upset. Now, if I go out and drink and party and eat like crap all weekend and then I feel like shit on a Monday, that's my own fault. And yeah, I can be mad. Like I
Right,
should be mad at myself.
right,
But that's the only time I think we can be disappointed in the way we look is if we're not treating our bodies properly.
right,
So
right.
that's one thing that I'm really trying to ground myself on because I mean it's tough. I've been dealing with this, gosh, for 10 years at this point. So it's an ongoing battle, but just, remembering back to the basic, we're beautifully and wonderfully made and we're exactly how we're supposed to be. So
The easy thing I think for me to say is, well, just use your brain and look at the math. I need to
mhm.
hit this much protein. I need to be taking creatine, blah blah blah. But most people, me included, you can see here's the math, but you might feel differently.
Yeah.
They'll say, well, you gotta be strong in your feelings. I'm like, well, fuck off, man, because that's hard to do, right? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it's still the answer, right? Like
Hmm.
when you can take the emotion out of the equation, then you make some better decisions. Um, so as soon as you figure that out, man, you don't need to play more volleyball. You'll be a gazillionaire because everybody else will just follow that. What about this? We had two other pros on, and I have two nieces, and we are talking about this before. There's a concern about how you look because of eating or being stronger, which I think is my wife and I are like, that's awesome. Like that person's an athlete. Like look at that person. Look at the work they put in to be there.
Hmm.
But there's also the toxicity of being on a team, like whether it's male or female, and some people will stereotypically say, it's more prevalent with females, but it happens on the guys' teams too. Um, Talk about that component. Like sometimes winning or surviving and advancing is just you outlast the other quitters. And some people gave up and like, what, I'm gonna go out for this next team and you make it. So talk about the mindset and surviving that component as well, especially coming up through some do travel sports at a very young age, like within high school and college and pros. Like there's people
Yeah.
out there, their teammates that are just kind of assholes sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you just have to remember that everyone was raised different. We all come from different backgrounds. Even just growing up in different training environments. Like, there were some club teams that were run like a military school. And then there were other club teams that you were eating Skittles on the sidelines, you walked onto the court, you won a game. Like, good for you. Everyone came from a different athletic background. But we all should have the same goal of wanting to win. And I think it's the team and the teammates that can put aside the differences in who you are and just work towards the one goal of wanting to win a championship. That's where the success is. And just, putting your eyes on the prize. I mean, like I said, I've been on so many teams where it's like I felt like we work our ass off and then all of a sudden we get to the championships and kind of fall through. And my 1 year in France was the 1 year we won it. And I don't even think any of those teams were that different. It's just the way you train is the way you perform, and having the mindset of we're all working towards this one goal and not one person falling off of that goal is the important factor in it. And yeah, like learning from other teammates too, like not looking at them as like a negative way of, oh, well, why are you that way? It's okay, well, what can I learn from how you trained that's different than how I trained? And we can both get better from our differences.
Yeah, they could have a component that you're not used to.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we had some kids that would come in and they're farm boy strong because they grew up on a farm, but have no clue on how to manipulate a barbell. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
shoot, right?
Yeah.
But hey, that guy is still capable.
Absolutely.
Which, brings in a whole bunch of different ways to learn. Then you said going to Europe, he'll learn a lot more about how to eat clean food. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's outstanding. You said that your teams, like at Purdue, for a while, they struggled in the first round of the tournament, and then some other teams you're on, they struggled in the playoffs. And like, I'm a big Tony Robbins guy. I'm a big let's get better guy. Let's find out the psyche and mindset. Like what in my brain and in my heart is holding me back. So he'll talk about, hey, first thing is recognizing different patterns, pattern recognition, and then stopping patterns and then changing patterns, right? Was there a commonality that you thought, or was it, the teammate component in those teams where, like, you start approaching the playoffs or it's time to advance, and this, I'm making an assumption that you guys got beat by teams that you guys should have beaten, right? That should were awful. Was there a thread that was similar or common in those instances that you can
Mm,
analyze, or not so much?
I the one thing that's coming to like the top of my mind is that instead of feeling like you have to win and then going into a game knowing that you will win are two different mindsets. And playing scared is never going to get you anywhere. And there were so many times that I think I've been on a team where we go in and like we maybe have thought that we were like playing our best, but like if you go back and look, we were playing scared. So I think just going in, knowing and like trusting your training and trusting that like your coach, like having a coach that is like really strong in their game plan, and just completely trusting each other and what we've put in the work that season, is probably the biggest factor that I've noticed either wins or fails.
Gotcha. I've listened to a bunch of Bill Belichick and having the Navy SEALs on the show. We talk about buds, and you mentioned your brother was badass, but tapped out at buds, and he didn't talk about why. And what I've been so yeah, I'm 50, right? So I'm just sitting back, armchair quarterbacking everything, and
Uh,
they talk in depthly, very consistently about once you have your plan in place, and like you said about trusting it, that you only focus on the next step. And when people start focusing about the extrinsic, man, I like to win, or I should win, or I will win, well, that's three games, 3 sets, 5 sets, tournament later. And what they should be thinking about is, hey, I need to get to the warm-ups on time so I can work on warming up. I made it through warm-ups. I need to sit down and listen to what coach has to say. Oh, I'm getting ready to
yeah,
go in. What's the game plan? Where you just
yeah,
think like inches in front of your face, and your focus becomes so narrow and short. And hey, this is what the game plan is. Well, boom, let's go. And you really have to, man, doggedly grind and build your mind that way because everyone's feeling. Parents are here. I got extra relatives in town.
yeah,
The place is packed now, right? Win in advance. You got this goal on the wall you've been thinking about versus thinking about the process goals. What do I need, about doing my job? And I think that I deal, myself or coaching athletes, if I can get them to just have a real short focus on the next steps, and they got a shot of at least not being overwhelmed emotionally,
absolutely. Yeah,
maybe, right?
yeah, yeah. Super important.
Do they help train you guys at that at all? The focusing, the breathing, is that even a thing, or do people just,
Yeah.
or you just kind of grind through and said, whatever, let's just go.
In Indy, we were fortunate. We had a performance. Um, I'm trying to think of what the title is. I mean, he was like not a therapist, but like he was like our mind performance person, that we worked with a little bit as a team, but like anyone that wanted the extra like mental training had access to. So I think that that was super important and was really beneficial for a lot of us because we also had a ton of rookies this last year in Indy, and transition to pro ball is obviously different. So just having access to that and being able to like talk with a professional for
Yeah,
it is really great. And like I said, like I'm so big on I like learning. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what stage of your career you're at. Like you can always learn something new, learn a different perspective. You can always get better, and using those mental tools, I think, is super important for performance.
I take the approach you must learn. You must learn to advance. Like I'm not a huge, you know what? Let's be honest. I don't like social media a whole lot.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things on there I like. I like, log cabins and national parks and German shepherds and some comedians, but advertising on that or learning how to make a cooler reel and at bullshit, right? So even my approach, my response calling it bullshit is not good because it's still a tool to reach people. And
Yeah.
it's not the strongest that survives or the smartest, Darwin said. It's the one that adapts the best.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so if I refuse to adapt, then I'm going to lose out in a lot of ways. And I think with anyone that like rookies or whatever, you take them through what I call my athlete builder approach or your own approach. But like, if you're always hunting for how can I improve my mindset or get smarter at the game or be a better teammate, or I'm hunting at my training, my nutrition, my recovery, you're going to find some new habit you can implement
Hmm.
and then move the needle. So just take the approach.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep hunting, especially
Yeah.
with rookies. When
Yeah.
you move
Even
from
not as a rookie. I
right,
mean, sorry to cut you off, but like about 3 years into my pro career, I had become like very complacent and I was just doing it because that's what I thought I needed to do. And I didn't really want to transition into the next chapter of my life yet. And then I actually met Michael. I tore my hip. Like I just had a year where I was like, what the fuck? Like I literally was like, literally like, what the fuck? There was no other words for it. And I retrained my mind to look at it as like, I'm blessed. I'm not doing what I could be doing to get better as an athlete and just had this epiphany of like I could extend my career and I can continue playing and I can get better halfway through my pro career. So it wasn't even, it wasn't even new to me. Like I knew I could be doing these things, but it's almost like I just had to get socked in the face before I had to retrain my mind a little bit. Um
that happens to me. It happens to a lot of
yeah,
people. You know, you're
yeah.
told the same. Don't play with fire, Jimmy, when you're little.
Yeah.
Well, shit, that tennis ball is good and on fire before I'm like, oh shoot, I'm in trouble now, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Similar to you in that you said you got a late start with athletics. Like I did it for somewhat and great growing up, but then went through my 20s and most of my 30s just fat and embarrassing. And then turned everything around, got a lot healthier.
Yeah.
But the where I'm going with this is that I was fortunate in that in my prior background was finance and investments, JP Morgan, all that jazz, interviewing and interrogating forensic accounting. So I would work with people to see if they're lying, blah, blah, blah. And what we're taught there is just keep asking more questions until you find the root cause. And then in the financial world at MBA school at Purdue, like just keep asking more questions until you find the root cause of the financial problem so you can address it. So I take that background of just keep asking more. You don't have to be great and smart at things. I'm just keep asking enough questions. And
Yeah.
either the athlete or the client, the athlete's going to have some kind of answer. So if I bring you on, Blake, and I'm like, okay, you've been getting hurt, you've been this is going on, or you're complacent. I'm going to ask so many questions that you're going to be annoyed.
Yeah.
And but the at some point, some answers are going to come out. I'm like, hey, this could be the answer. Let's just start working on it, and we're going to get that feedback loop
Yeah,
immediately, so
for
that
sure.
let's assume I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but we can adjust quickly. So
Yeah.
I think if you keep taking that hunting, let's ask another question. Why am I getting hurt, man? What's going on? Why is my hair falling out? Well,
Yeah.
don't stay out till 3.
Yeah, for sure. For
Right?
sure. Yeah.
Um, that makes it kind of doable. The volume in college, how many games you guys play
Oh
roughly?
gosh. College, it was usually two per week from mid-August to December,
Okay,
I
and
think.
then playoffs are first of the year.
For college, they usually start right after Thanksgiving, I
Gotcha.
think, into December. Yeah.
Okay,
I've been out for a while now.
right, right. Get back to go to Harry's and see how things
Yeah.
are looking.
Yeah.
And then how many October, November? So I don't know, 10 a month, 8 a month,
Is it maybe
30, 40.
30 something? Yeah.
It looked like your team last year only played about 30 games, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
30.
not a lot different in terms of the volume.
No, but then when you go to Europe, it was like a weird breakup. So Europe is like a 10-month long season,
Whoa.
um, with preseason counted in, maybe nine. But it was only one game per week. So
Okay.
just like it was a different look because it was like less volume. It's over an extended period of time, so your like practice volume is so much higher. Because once you get into the season, you're playing 2 games a week, you kind of have to taper the training. But then when you're only doing one game a week for 9 months, you're, training 4 heavy days. So now that we're back to the college schedule, I think I like it a lot more.
Gotcha. I think you guys were right around 500 last year, right?
500. What does that mean?
Like 500, like you guys were, your record was like 50-50.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 And then
Um,
made it to this finals.
right?
Yeah.
How are things looking this year in your professional estimation? And it's gonna be a soundbite for ESPN, so be careful here, right?
Oh goodness. I think we are equipped staff wise and player wise to be very competitive in this league and bring home the million. I think Lauren is going to bring a whole different perspective of volleyball. And this was something that I sat down with our ownership group and talked about. Like pro volleyball across the world is different in each country. And I think her being able to bring over that European side of volleyball to America is going to give us a different advantage when it comes to like speed and just different ways of playing the game that might shock some people. But I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to give anyone, any tips of how to beat us. So
Right.
we'll just have to see.
Okay. Um, in your head, mindset, knowledge of sport, working with teammates. What's one of the things that you're gonna be working on this coming season?
I think I just want to be the best teammate that I can be, and I know that's kind of what I said earlier. But just being okay with whatever role that I'm given. I think most of my career I was a starter. I never sat on the bench. I never rotated through my position, and that's not really how it's working as much in the last couple of years. And being able to see the game on the sidelines and not sit there negatively and be like, ugh, why am I not playing? Like assuming that role, being able to help my teammates, doing my best on the court when I'm on the court, but just being more of like a well-rounded player in that sense is something that I really want to work on this year. And then just do whatever I can to help our team win.
Gotcha. I
Yeah.
was, I was watching this clip. I cannot for the life remember who said it. As a basketball coach, and they put staff in the stands opposite of the bench, and that staff member's job was to grade everybody when they're on the bench.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were coming back after every game with grades. And based on their grades, that was the source of most of the rewards and the punishments. Not the wins and losses, not the turnover
Yeah.
ratio, not assists and points, but how the team performed on the bench, sitting there, standing there, whatever. And those grades went up on average, the team's performance went up
Mhm.
exponentially. So if the
Yeah.
grades went up like twofold, the results on the court went up like four or fivefold.
Absolutely. I learned that and I didn't implement it into my career because it didn't really make sense for me at that time. But I went and did some college national team training my senior year summer. Um, and that was like Karch's big thing was that you have to be like, no matter what your role on the team is, like you have to be that person's eyes and ears off the court in your position group. And if you go watch any USA national team game, like the bench is probably more excited and more into the game than the people on the court. And I think that's so important. But obviously, I really wasn't on the bench at that time in my career and didn't really know what he meant by that. But now just like seeing how the roles kind of move through in this league and everyone takes their time on the court, on the bench, whatever role. Like you said, like it is important. And if you can go up by 2 points, then you're making your team better by two. I think it's really important.
You said the coach was Karch. Is that Karch Karai?
Yes, yeah. He's not a men's coach, but yeah,
Right. Like
yeah.
I remember him and this guy St. John Smith playing beach volleyball when I was in the 80s. Like,
Really?
oh yeah, and those guys were the guys.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
One of
Still
the things
doing
that
it.
I tell our athletes because like I have an idea and an opinion of how I should be a better teammate, but I just take the guesswork out of it, and I'll
Hmm.
go up to you and say, hey Blake, how can I be a better teammate to you? What's something that's lacking where if I helped you out with this, you be a better player. So I just
Yeah,
ask, like,
yeah,
what do you need as an ally, not a friend, because
yeah.
as an athlete on a team, the allies are more important. Um, you want to be friendly, but I want to be
Hmm.
the guy that I don't want to be the friend that say, "Hey man, let's go out drinking." I want to be the ally that says, "Let's not go out drinking. Let's drink when the season's over with." Right? So I just ask my teammate, "Hey, what do you need?" and be specific.
Hmm.
So I know that I'm giving this to you. You're going to perform better, and I'm like, "Oh, good." Because I'm going to be selfish. I want to feel good about me. So if I'm doing what you're asking me to do, then I win. I feel good about me because I succeeded in the task.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Physically, what are we looking to improve? Either training, nutrition, or recovery. And I know you love your sleep and your clean eating, but of the three things, what's the habit we're working on, training, nutrition, and recovery that you can
Um,
share that you're trying to get better at?
it's got to be the nutrition. Like it's and like kind of going back to what we said with my lifestyle right now, it's crazy. When I'm in off season, I'm in a ballpark 4 to 5 nights out of the week, and I smell a hot dog and I want a hot dog. So
Right?
I am great during season. When I am in my routine in Indy, like it's easy for me to be on it. I'm focusing on being able to be consistent with that all year. And that's been, I mean, I really didn't start taking and you could roll through my Instagram, you're going to see my body changes in the last 3 years. You can see when I started getting a little more serious about it. And it actually, Michael slapped me, not really slapped me in the face, but like, made me realize like, hey, you need to get serious if you want to be serious last August. So I'm coming up on a year of it. And of course, the last 3 months with crazy baseball, I get a little bit inconsistent. So just focusing on like making it a lifestyle and not like realizing that even when I'm not playing volleyball, like it's still important for me aging and wanting to live a healthy life until the day I leave. Yeah, so that's just being consistent in my nutrition. I know what my body likes, I know what I perform best with, and instead of grabbing the sweet treat, finding a better option.
I'm good with nutrition, but my wife's great. Like I'm like a B plus. She's a
Yeah,
she's more of an A nutrition coach, and she'll just tell you it's all about the system you set up, not the
it is.
goal, not the goal. And when people travel, they're like, "Well, I'm traveling," so I'm like, "Yeah, well, there's got to be a system for when you travel, even if it is it a 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, you know, it's you have to ask the questions to identify the pattern and set up a
For
system,
sure.
which is hard, right?
It's so hard.
Until you figure it out, and you're like, all right, well, this is my system.
Yeah.
I don't need to think anymore.
Yeah, we're slowly but surely figuring it out, but it's a tough one up there. So,
The irony is that by the time you retire, you'll have it all figured out.
yeah, of course, I'm just mad at myself and going back to, you can only be mad when you do it to yourself. I wish I would have figured this out 4 years ago.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're working out in the gym, what do you listen to?
I have been big into like Christian music, Forrest Frank, like it helps me remember why I'm doing it. And just realizing that I'm very fortunate to be able to perform the way I can. So it kind of just grounds me while I'm working out. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there a bucket list adventure location for you and Michael that you haven't been on yet? Where you're it's not athletic related.
Yeah. No, I really want to go to Thailand. Michael is not for that one. I haven't convinced him, but that's always been on my list.
Why?
I have no idea. It just looks beautiful. I had friends go a couple years ago. I've had a coach go, and it just like it looks so fun to me. I don't know.
My brother Brad went. He taught English in Japan for 3 years and then
Uh,
had a little trip over to Thailand for vacation
yeah.
and wasn't disciplined on the water drinking.
Yeah, well that would be a little hard. My best friend's getting married in New Zealand next year and that's also like bucket list. So maybe that we can count that one.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
My wife and I are big All Blacks rugby fans,
really?
and
Yeah.
so New Zealand will be awesome.
Yeah.
What's a favorite sports movie?
Um, I just feel like I have to say The Blind Side. That was like the one that I always watched growing up. So, yeah.
The main actor, Quentin,
Hmm.
plays the tackle.
Yeah.
He and I were co-authors on this book, and
Oh, no way.
I met him, and we're talking about The Blind Side.
Yeah.
And he's working security out in Hollywood to pay the bills, and he and his brother are about to get evicted because they're out of money. And
Hmm.
they're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to make it anymore as an actor." Just like, the football player was struggling, right? And he just kept sticking with it and finally gets his call to play the blind side and it turns his life around.
That's awesome.
It's
That's
super
really
cool.
cool.
Super cool, dude.
Hmm.
What's your favorite sport to watch?
Well, everyone makes fun of me because I actually don't like watching sports.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
like playing it. I do not like watching it, but I would have to say baseball because obviously I'm there every night of the week during the summer.
Okay, let's assume that Michael's the best player of all time, right? And
Uh-huh.
let's say the answer is not Michael. Who's your favorite sport athlete?
Definitely Drew Brees. Yeah. Growing up down in Mississippi near the coast, big Saints fan, family-wise. And then he was actually like kind of part of the reason I chose Purdue. I was like, that's
Wow.
really cool. Yeah. But yeah, just super hard worker. Love everything that he's about. So,
Do you have a book that you could recommend?
a book. Well, I'm like big fiction girl. So, I really like The Women by Kristen Hanna.
I'm gonna mention that to
Yeah,
my
it's
wife.
really good.
My favorite fiction book is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Awesome, given today's environment. Written
Okay.
75 years ago. One of the
Wow.
biggest bestsellers in the history of books, and it's outstanding. It's so well written, and the message is unbelievable. And if you
Okay,
think
I'll have to add it to my list.
it's an investment, man, it's 1,100 plus pages. So
Oh, okay. Mine right now is 800, so I feel like if I can get through that, we can add a
yeah,
couple hundred.
if you think about the premise of the title, do you know who Atlas was? The god that carried the earth on his shoulders. Okay.
Okay.
And the title is Atlas Shrugged.
Okay.
It
So
means
he's
you shrugged the world off and said, I'm not carrying it. I'm not
okay.
I'm not carrying this anymore.
Gotcha.
Now what happens?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Little mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, one of our dogs is named after a character. My wife named a stuffed animal after the character, you know.
That's awesome. So it's got to be a good book. I'll have to check it out.
Uh, this could be a real life person
Okay.
or fictional since you like fiction.
Okay.
Favorite superhero.
My mom.
There you go.
Yeah. She's great.
Man, what a compliment.
Yeah, she's the best.
Man,
Quite literally. They've been the biggest supporters in my career, so couldn't have done it without them.
how about favorite villain? Look at that cringe. My goodness, that's such a
I
bad.
don't like villains.
Well, sure, they're the bad
The
guy,
devil,
right?
yeah, the devil's it. That
That's
one's, I don't like that guy.
that's your favorite?
Well, yeah, you're right. That's a bad.
It's probably your
Can we
least
cut
favorite.
that?
Yeah, it's probably your least favorite.
Um, uh, I don't watch any villainous things.
A lot of people say
Who's
that
yours?
mine is Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that was a weird movie.
It was.
Yeah.
And Hannibal Lecter is the guy in jail. And
Okay.
a lot of people say the Joker in the Batman movies.
Yeah.
Some people say Darth Vader.
Okay. I like Star Wars. We could go with that.
Okay. If you're in the gym, what's your favorite lift?
I love a deadlift.
Bang. That's a good one.
Yeah. I know, Michael. We actually just ordered a trap bar because I'm obviously going to Arizona to train. We don't have one, but he doesn't have one there. So he's like, see, this is where, he's a great athletic partner push. He's like, do you need one for your lifts? I was like, yeah, ordered one. Great. Trap bar deadlift all the way.
It translates so well for athletes and for those that are tall, it's really good, you know. So
Yeah. You don't
yeah,
have to go all the way down.
right, right. Do you have a quote for us?
No.
Okay, that's all right. Where can all your pending fans and
Yeah.
growing community come find you?
Well, I've deleted everything except Instagram, and I have it set on a time limit of an hour a day because I'm trying to get off of it. So that would be about it.
Okay,
Instagram, Blake Moeller, find me there.
Blake Mohler on Instagram, and the team you
Yeah,
played for is Indy,
Indy Ignite.
and then Michael plays for the.
The Cubs, but he just became a free agent yesterday, so we'll see.
So we'll see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
My wife loves the Cubs. I'm from Cleveland, so I like the Indians. I don't call them the Guardians. And the Cubs beat my Indians a number of years ago. My wife was thrilled.
I bet. I bet. Yeah.
For
We'll
those that want
see.
to get a hold of us, let's see, it's at athlete-builder.com. If you want to email us, info@athlete-builder.com. If you want to support our breast cancer event, it's the gym's Unbreakable Athletics. So the breast cancer event is called Unbreakable Boobs. And so we raise money for local charities and people. So look up Unbreakable Athletics Academy in Plainfield and reach out to us. We want to make a difference. So that's our one of our big fundraisers for the year. So Blake, love having you on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
I love the fun approach and attitude. It made it very comfortable and easy to hang out and talk to you. Learned a bunch of things. It was great. So man, thank you for the gift. You
Yeah,
really made a difference today. Thank you.
thanks so much.
See ya.
Bye.